What's your name?
Corbin.
How old are you?
17.
What's your gender identity?
Male.
What made you realise you were trans?
When I was about 7-ish, I knew that I wasn't a girl, and I just hated anything associated with females, like dresses and things. It was rubbish. You know, obviously, always being told, oh, you're a girl, you're my daughter, you know, my niece, or whatever, everything female assorted. Always getting pressured into like dresses and makeup and stuff, and I'd always get the mickey taken out of me for like, oh, why have you cut your hair, why don't you wear makeup and heels and all that stuff. It's like, it never interested me anyway, but obviously girls are associated with all that and whatever. So yeah, it was awkward, I suppose, because obviously people didn't really understand or know about me being trans, so they just kind of thought I was always like a over-the-top tomboy, and they can't understand why I hate female clothing and female stuff. It's like, my mum always says that to me. Can't understand why you don't like makeup and everything.
How do you find getting clothes that feel right for you? Is there certain shops you go to, or...?
And Paws or Primark.
But you find the right stuff that fits you and you're happy with?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, it can be quite awkward because obviously girls or people with like female bodies tend to have wider hips. So obviously with guy jeans, they're made for, I don't know, thingy body things. I think I was about 11 or something when my transsexual summer was on TV, and obviously at that age I'm not going to really understand it very well, but like, you know, you got to see like transitions and stuff, and I was like, that's me, that's how I feel, and that's what I want to go through, and if that's what I've got to go through to be a guy, that's what I'll do. So I've been to the Leeds Gender Clinic, which, well, the kids one, the young people and adolescents one, had a couple of appointments there. I'm now getting referred to the adult clinic in Sheffield, so that way then I can start getting on with the process to start T, which is like testosterone and stuff.
Fantastic. So what advice would you give to somebody else who's transitioning?
Take your time, don't rush it. Probably speak to someone you know you can trust. You know, if you're ready to come out but you're not really sure to come out to family or whatever, have someone there to support you or have someone to talk to about the way you feel. because that always helped me when I was younger, especially if you're younger. Like, yeah.
What kind of responses did you get from people when you told them?
Mainly positive. I've had a lot of negative ones as well. But I first came out to Ash, which is my best friend. Yeah, so that was my first positive one. It was mainly positive then. Came out to my mum, that wasn't positive. Came out to more people, that was mixed responses. Came out to my mum again, that was also not positive again. So, yeah.
So how is it with your mum now?
Rubbish.
Yeah.
She doesn't see me as a guy and never will, so.
Oh.
Stuff happens.
What about the rest of your family?
My dad knows, but he just completely ignores it,
Right.
and the rest of my family don't know
Okay.
yet.
What was it like being at school and having to deal with people at school?
It was mixed responses again. My like group of friends called me Corbin and stuff, and male pronouns and things. One teacher called me Corbin. One. That's it. After that, I got a lot of stuff spread about me around the school, and that spread around like wildfire. So that was fun. Caused me a lot of depression and stuff during that time.
How do you look after yourself? How do you keep yourself going when it's tough?
I don't really know, to be honest. I just remember that even when I feel alone, I know I've got someone, even if they're not physically with me.
How important do you think it is to have a support network?
Well, it might sound over dramatic, but like life or death situation. I mean, if I never found like a support system, I don't think I'd still be here, if I'm honest.
And if other young people, are there support systems in Bingley, Bradford, Shipley, where young people can go to who feel like you?
Yeah. Like Phoenix, which is in Bradford. I think that's on a Wednesday. That's run by Narina. That's for trans young people. For anyone who's 18 plus, there's Transmission, which is on a Monday night, also in Bradford. I think there's some in Leeds, but I don't personally go to them, so I can't tell you all about that. And I think they're the nearest ones. I don't know if any more. I mean, there's other LGBT ones, but they're all not just trans specific.
What's your name?
Ash?
Have you always been called Ash?
No.
When did you change your name?
But back end of last year.
What made you change your name?
I like the name Ash, and it's like a gender neutral name. Because I'm gender fluid, and I've always liked the name Ash.
What is your gender identity?
Gender fluid.
What made you realise that you were gender fluid?
I was at the National Union Students LGBT Plus Conference last year, and being around a lot of people who identified as gender fluid and gender non-binary kind of helped me realise.
What was it about them?
I don't know. Something just clicked, if you know what I mean.
How old were you?
I was 18, I think. Yeah.
Don't know your name.
You know.
And what advice would you give to other people who were going through the same thing?
Just be who you are, and don't let other people tell you can't be who you are.
What would you say to someone who invalidates your gender identity?
I've had that a couple of times actually. I just basically tell them It is an actual thing. Research it. If you don't believe me, I bet it's time to get lost.
So have you found you've had to challenge people over time on people making assumptions about your gender?
Yeah, I've also had people say like, "Oh, gender fluid ain't real. It's just something created on Tumblr," and "Oh, that's not a real identity. It's fake and stuff like that." Basically.
Excuse my ignorance, but what's the difference between non-binary and gender fluid?
Gender fluid is.
Gender fluid is under the umbrella of non-binary.
Thank you, Thomas.
Okay.
So would you say gender fluid's where one day you feel more male, another day you feel more female, other days you don't want to identify whatsoever,
Yeah, that's
whereas
pretty much.
non-binary is I don't identify with either gender.
Yeah.
The whole time. And it can go from like day to day or week to week or hour to hour, really. It can vary.
And would you say being gender fluid has meant that you are, do you feel more gender fluid as you get older, or has it always been the case for you?
As I got older, I kind of realised more what it meant, and and they kind of connected the dots, so to speak.
And how does being gender fluid affect your everyday life?
It does a bit when people are trying to. Well, it's good. If I'm wearing more female clothing, I just assume that I'm trans, male to female. Just assume. No, I'm not. Actually, I'm gender fluid. And when I got my nails painted, I just think I'm like a really camp gay guy.
What about the whole toilet situation in public toilets? Because obviously being I've forgotten the word now. Gender fluid. It must be difficult. At one point you feel more feminine, and you feel like you can't go to the female toilets.
Yeah, and it's just the way society is at the moment. I'm kind of forced to use the male toilets, which is a bad thing. But you kind of have to, I guess. I am campaigning at college for gender neutral toilets. Places like doctor surgeries, and some train stations and other public buildings like council offices and stuff have gender neutral toilets, which is good.
They don't really put it down as gender neutral though, do they? They
No.
just put it as disabled.
Some do. My doctor's surgery, they have gender neutral basically. It's got both male and female sign on it. So, yeah, that's pretty good.
One of my bugbears is when you go into a shop like Argos or somewhere else like that and you order something, they say, is it Miss, or Mrs? But they don't ask a man that.
No.
Why do they need to know your gender to order a piece of stuff? And if I was to see a campaign happening, I know this is by the by, if I was to see a campaign happen around gender, it would be to stop shops doing that, because I find it highly offensive that they want to know your marital status before you can buy something in a shop, or your gender.
I use the title MX, which is the gender neutral title, instead of Mr. or Mrs. Or Miss, and some places have that, some places don't. So on some stuff I'm Mr, some stuff I'm MX. So because it's been accepted by the UK government as MX, but it's not being rolled out everywhere yet. Like some banks don't have it on their system yet. Some shops don't. Some online systems don't.
How did you go about changing your name?
I did it online, and then I put it out on special grade paper, higher quality paper, and then I had 2 witnesses basically sign it to basically confirm that they witnessed this happening, and that made it all official.
How, I don't know if you've ever been in this position, but you may do in future, how do partners How do you talk to partners about you being gender fluid?
I just, because my partner's male to female trans, so they're very understanding when it comes to this sort of thing. So I just sat them down and just told them, and they were very understanding and very accepting. They still struggle at times with pronouns, as I do with her. So anyway, I stuck then.
My mama told me when I was young, we're all born superstars. She rolled my hair, put my lipstick on, in a glass of her boudoir. There's nothing wrong with loving who you are, she said, 'cause you made